So Lord, we thank you in advance. Good God morning, people of God. You have tuned in to another episode of The Solutions. I am your host, Minister Corey Wright. As always, we know what the problems are. We know we need to solve them. With our phone, this platform is solutions, dedicated acts of action that bring about true change, not just talked about change, and no excuses. Excuses are man tools of incompetence that build bridges nowhere, monuments of nothing, broadcasting live at IntellectualRadio-Podcast, our hard radio station. People of God, as always, we look for sponsorship. If the Solutions Radio Show has blessed your life in any kind of way, please be a blessing to the Solutions Radio Show by going to my GoFundMe page on my Facebook page and donate. You can donate as little as $5. This is good ground. Also, people of God, I don't know if you tuned in to yesterday's show, but be a part of the movement. We are taking back our blocks one job at a time. I partnered with Jeff Maxwell from Second Chance Employment. His number is 773-759-9510, 773-759-9510. If you need a job, text him today. Let him know Solutions Radio Show sent you, and you will get a job. You can start working tomorrow and have a check next week. So that's our movement. I'm partnering with Jeff Maxwell for Second Chance Employment, and we're taking back our streets jobs. We're taking our streets back with jobs. You know, not just saying, so let me take your block or take your position in the block and let me provide you with a job. So if you're loitering, let me exchange that for a job. Or if you're hanging out, let me change that for a job. Let me take away your nothingness and give you a job. And that's how we're going to take back our block, one job at a time. Because we can't offer somebody nothing but dreams. We need to work. So again, people of God, if you need a job, and it don't matter your background, no matter if you have a record, it doesn't matter about anything. You need a job. You call my man Jeff Maxwell at Second Chance Employment at 773-759-9510, 759-9510, area code 773. Text him, Solutions Radio Show, start working tomorrow. Okay, people, we're asking the question today. Is there date limitations for adults? Do you feel that is there somebody you feel that is off limit for your best friend or your family member or your child to date? And this is a very interesting topic, a very interesting subject. And I came up with this subject because years ago, in my early 20s, I had a friend of mine. We were really close friends, and his little sister was our little sister. And she was like 5 years younger than us, and that's how we viewed her, as our little sister, his kid sister. Well, we kept in contact, but I ran into his little sister at the age of 20, and she was no longer a little sister. I'm 25, she's 20, and she was like, wow, and she liked me. But when she expressed her like for me, her friend had a problem with that because he felt like this is my little sister and this should be your little sister because we grew up like that, little sister, big brother thing. So why do you look at it like that now? So my question that I'm asking the people, please call in at 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. The question I'm asking, is there date limitations? Is there a hidden line in friendship or in knowing somebody that you don't cross when it comes to date? Is it okay for adults who are legal age to date who they want to date, no matter the family ties? Or is it somebody that you say is off limits? That's just like me. I grew up with a best friend. Is your best friend allowed to date your child who is grown? Would you have a problem with that? Because you grew up with this guy, you grew up with this lady, you know what they're about. And because I had a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say no names, but a friend of mine was allowing her friend, her grown friend, to stay with her. But to come to find out that a grown friend was sleeping with her child. Now, her son is 22 years old. Her son is an adult. But it startled her when she caught them together. So the question that I'm asking, and it makes me think, did she really do something wrong? Or did he do something wrong? Or is there a hidden line in between that you shouldn't cross? Should a family member, do they have a right to date an ex? Or here, this is even better. Do your best friend have a right to date your ex? How would you respond to that? And that's the question this morning, and that's what we're going to talk about. I think that's a very great subject. Again, people, 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. I want to know your limitations. Now, let's talk about me personally. I just think that if my best friend dates my ex, he wanted to date her anyway. But here's the thing. Everybody is not meant for us. Everybody's not signed to us, no matter how bad we want them. And it could be very well that my best friend might be better for it. And I have an example. There's a young lady that that was really in love with me when I was a kid. When I said kid, I'm about 19, 20. Before I became a adult, legal adult. And she was so crazy about me, but my friend was crazy about her. And he loved her tremendously. Now, at that age, I'm a young man. I don't know anything about real love. I'm not ready for responsibility. So in my mind, I'm like, this is too heavy for me, and I can't do that. But I recognized that this guy was ready for that, because again, I came from a broken home. My mom raised 3 kids on her own without a dad being there. I had some dad issues because, again, I met my dad at 25, and then I've just the last 2 years I'm reaching out to my brothers and sisters on that side. So I had dad issues. So I didn't know what it was to be in a true relationship at the time. So I was just like, young man, I got the world ahead of me. I got all these girls liking me. I'm not ready for that type of commitment. So I remember the day I broke up with her, and he was there with me. And I told her, I said, listen, this gentleman loves you. He cares about you. And he can offer you a love that I couldn't offer you. Okay. And I left. And he stayed with her, and they ended up in a relationship. Now, years ago, and I don't know what made her stop, because I know her mom used to live on 113th over there by Halsted. And I guess her mom still stays over there. They came out of Kenny Ribs. And I don't know if you guys remember Kenny Ribs. Kenny Ribs would be right there, right off 111th Street. It's right next to a liquor store. Now, I'm going to the liquor store at that time because I'm a young man. I'm going to the liquor store going to get a drink. And this lady ended up being a multi-million-dollar CEOs over companies. She's worth millions on top of millions, right? So they come out of Kenny Ribs, and there is a cherry-colored Bentley outside of Kenny Ribs. And I'm admiring the car. I'm like, wow, somebody got a Bentley in the hood. Are they crazy? They love Kenny Ribs that much? So I'm out there looking at the Bentley like, wow, I'm admiring the Bentley. And guess who walks out in the wintertime in a fur coat? Her and him. They walk out, and she gives me a look like, one of them looks like, yeah, you see what you lost. You see what she didn't even give me a hug, but gave me a handshake. One of them handshakes was like, see, you could have had all this. And that's one reason why when I talk about bad relationships, we never talk about the good ones we lost. That was one I lost. That was a good one I lost. So he hugged me like, hey, brother, it's good to see you. I ain't seen you in all these years. Man, good to see you. He went in his trunk and gave me a expensive bottle of champagne. And you could tell this bottle was worth a couple of $100. I don't know if it was Christoph or whatever it was. It was very, very expensive. Gift wrapped in a paper and thing, and he gave me this bottle. He said, brother, I have been waiting over 10 years to give you this bottle of champagne. And I said, well, why did you give me this bottle of champagne? Because he said, you gave up and gave me the greatest gift you ever had. And I told my fiance, you know what? I hope you kept a record, especially all the happiness and joy you brought me, of all the men that hurt you and did you wrong, because I want to send them a bottle of champagne on me. And I told them that I would send them a bottle. And when he gave me this bottle of champagne, right, he get in the car. She got this mink, I think it's chinchilla on. He got a nice little coat on. And, I asked him, hey, man, what y'all do? He said, she's a multi-million-dollar. Because I remember her saying about the things she was going to do in the business she was going to do. Very smart girl. And I didn't think it was going to come to fruition. And I'm like, wow. And when he drove off, the look she gave me stopped my heart. She gave me, and it seemed like that look was 15 minutes or 2 hours. But that look was only 3 seconds. But she gave me a look with a smirk like, you see what you could have had. And it's like, so that was a story that really inspired, and along with a few other stories that inspired this thing. What is date limitations? Now, I had another friend who kept cheating on his woman. He kept cheating on her. He kept doing her wrong. He kept cheating on her. And another friend of ours was like, man, you got a good woman. She does all this for you, and you're going to cheat on her. One day, she called him. And she decided to, give our other friend a chance. They've been married today. Do you know the friends, they ain't spoken since? Because he felt like, you know what, you were disrespectful because you dated my ex. Okay, you threw her away. So when we think about that, people, again, I want to hear your opinions. 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. Was he wrong? In my eyesight, he wasn't wrong. Because you might be with somebody that's assigned to me. Is there a blueprint on happiness? Is there a blueprint on love? Is there a certain thing or a certain way love have to be obtained? Is there an age difference? Is age only a number? Can a person be happy with 30 years apart, 20 years, 25 years apart? Can somebody be happy with somebody else? Or can somebody be happy, can somebody that I used to be with, somebody else make them happy? Would you get mad behind that? There are so many friendships that have been lost because people have wanted other people's mans or other people's women. Now, those are people who plot. They're wrong. Because if it just didn't work with us, then you have a right to date who you want away. But if somebody is plotting for your man or your woman, then they have crossed the line. They're absolutely wrong. Because there are a lot of people don't know. They think that the grass is greener, or they think that what you got is better than what they got, so they'll try to take it. That's why, when I look at something, I have a lot of female friends on Facebook, and I have a lot of female friends that follow me and everything, but I don't have a lot of female friends I hang out with, if any. I might, I'll bless you and I'll send you something, or, if you got a problem and being a minister, we'll talk about it. But it ain't like, okay, we're going to hang out and we're going to kick it. We're going to party. No, I don't do that. Because I don't set myself up for situations that can cause me to fail. And a lot of times, that's why when you see somebody say, well, he just my friend, she just my friend, or I got all these friends. No, we don't need that. Because you know why? If I'm your man, I'm your mate, I'm your best friend. So if I need all these other people to occupy my time as friends, then something wrong. Because then somebody wants what you want. Because a lot of times, a lot of relationships or a lot of things that happen outside the marriage that shouldn't happen happens because of friendships. Because they're easy to talk to. That's why you see a lot of ladies say, or a lot of men say, oh, it's easy to talk to somebody that's married because they understand. No, a lot of times you want what they have. That's wrong. Now, anybody that's plotting to do that, but if it just didn't work and we couldn't get along together, and my best friend can get along with you and work, that's different. But now let's get a little personal. Let's go to our kids. I mean, you think about something. In your mind, your kids always your kids. They're always young. They're always babies in your eyesight. Even if they're grown, they're still your baby. So it'd be hard for you to grow up with somebody. Y'all that did the dirt together. Y'all that worked together. Y'all that did the streets together. Y'all that changed our life together. To sit down and be with your child. And that might be hard. And a lot of times, a lot of people see that as, okay, you have crossed the line. Now this person is grown. Should a grown child have a right to choose who they want to choose? Because there are a lot of people who might like you when they're young, but when they're old enough to do it. Is it the fact that there's an age factor, or is it the fact that that's just too close to your home? for you to deal with. You know what I mean? Because, think about it. You probably talk to your best friend about everything. Girl, I was with this man or my man, I was with this girl and we do this. How can you talk to somebody about a relationship that is their kid? That might be a little awkward conversation, because I know if a lady that's my friend talking to me about my son, I might have a problem. I'm going to have a problem with that, because I'm not only your friend, but I'm his dad. So when it comes out, I'm going to be like, okay, wait a minute. That's not right. So that could cause a problem. But what if your friend is a good God-fearing man, a good man? Now, you might have a point with the age factor, because age factor can cause people to, when a person age, a lot of times a person ain't lived. Somebody older has lived. And it might not make a difference immediately, but 25 years down the road, it could make a difference. But is there an age limit on happiness? I don't think so. Because I think if somebody can keep you young, keep you happy, you should have a right to be happy. But what happens if that person wants to date your child? See, I want to hear from especially some of the ladies, that got grown kids. Or here's the thing, a real kicker. What if that man dated you and now want to date your child? Now that might be a problem. Woo, now that's a problem for me. If you my best friend, we never dated, maybe I can see that. But if you dated me and now you want my child, then now we have a problem. So people of God, again, is there date limitations? Is there a hidden line, or is there a line that people shouldn't grow? Let me see what Katie said, because she's a cougar and he's a sugar daddy. That could be true, Katie. But again, we're talking about adults. Should everybody have the right to be happy no matter the family ties? That is a major question that we could see. A lot of times we look at these issues until it really hit us and we see what happens. Again, family member. I have never or will never date anybody that my family members dated. I just think that that's a level of disrespect, you ask me. Because and let's be real, from a personal standpoint, I would never want somebody to take something that I didn't work with me and make successful. And that's the problem right there. And especially when an ex date an ex, because I know, and people might not admit it, but there's a lot of times you have been with your friends and said, you know what, she don't treat you right, or you know what, he treats you like a dog. You know what, I would treat you 10 times better. You might not say it, but I know it's a lot of times you have probably been with somebody and said, this, I wish I had what you had. And a lot of times people say that, and they might not admit it, because I know I had a couple of friends. I would never do it, but I had a couple of friends that had some tremendous women that some was beating, some was treating them like dogs, some were cheating on them. I know somebody that, okay, let me see what Katie said. Yes, there is a date limitation. Use your morals, respect, and values. You're absolutely right. Come on, Katie, call in. Let me at 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. You're right. I agree. But I've had some people that been with some tremendous women but they end up leaving them and being successful somewhere else. Or I know some women who have some really good guys, and this is for all these ladies that say, well, there is no good guys out there. There is a lot of good guys out here. There was a lot of good people out here. The problem is, are we going to change us to receive them? Because see, we gonna always make us right. But I have seen some people that I just like, but now, how did they make it? What did this person do to get you? But then at the same time, I believe that opposites attract. I mean, you look at me and Antoinette. She is a very quiet person, amazing person. I'm a very loud and brass person. I like to talk. But we know, but where she's quiet at, I'm vocal at, and where I'm quiet at, she's vocal. So it's a great way that we complement each other. But is there limitations? Is there limitations? How would you feel if you found out the woman that you were in love with is now married to your cousin? What would you say? Would you attend a wedding? Could people, this getting good. I got these points. When I was thinking about this show last night, I'm like, wow, what would I say or what would I do if my cousin was dating one of my son's moms and they were planning on getting married? Would I attend the wedding? Could I attend the wedding? When it gets to that point where it says, if anybody got something to say, raise your hand, I probably would get up there and say, man, what is wrong with you, man? How you gonna date or marry somebody? But would I be wrong? You know, maybe so. I probably would be wrong because again, they're adults. And she has a right and he has the right to be happy. But should there be date limitations? You know, you think about this. There was a lot of people and at Finger that went to Finger, especially in our last reunion, especially in our last alumni picnic. Could you deal with one of your classmates dating your grown kids? Because there are a lot of people at Finger that has grown kids. You think about something. We had a 25, 26-year reunion, 25-year reunion. So a lot of us is 25 years removed from school, and a lot of us got kids that's 25, might be 20, might be over 21. A lot of them over 19, over 18. You know, especially girls, because I got a son that's be 19 in October. I mean, in March. So a lot of them have. Would you have a problem with one of your Finger classmates dating your child? That's deep. That is tremendously deep. That is something that, you know, again, I think that there's a hidden line of dating that we should and should not do. You know, would you have a problem? Because see, when we think about this, any relationship, and this is the way I view it, any relationship that makes everything and everybody feel uncomfortable, especially when you got ties, you shouldn't do. Because see, that's what you have in society. Because see, a lot of times we look at what we can get. And a lot of times we look at the older people as more seasoned, they know more, and they can. And you look at a lot of young ladies or young men feel like an older person can do more for them. You know, a lot of times the younger guys are immature, and a lot of times we date older people. You know, I was at one point that they used to call me an old soul. I used to love date older ladies. You know, and a lot of women like to date older men because in dating older men, you get a little experience. But there is an age difference. But it hits harder when it's in home. And I've learned this in life, and people of God, let me really be honest and open that a lot of things that we see happens in our community, we see things like this dating situation, it means little to us until it becomes something that we have to deal with personally. You know, I would not do it. That's just something that Minister Corey Wright wouldn't do. I would never date one of my best friend's girls. I would never ex-girls. I would never date one of my best friends or a friend's child. I would never do that. I would never date uh, uh, I would never date a family member's ex. I would never do that, and I would never tell somebody to do that. But if it's something that did happen where one of mine dated and my child who is grown decided to do it, I wouldn't like it, and I have to accept my son, but I'm sure that we wouldn't be best friends anymore. But I would have to accept it because she's an adult and he's an adult. Now, I wouldn't like it. I probably wouldn't attend the wedding, but eventually I would have to accept it because you know why? They're grown. And see, so the question is, again, people call in with your opinion, call in, but I want to hear your date limitations. 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. Should it be date limitations? Now let me be devil advocate. Let me go to the other side. Should it be? How do you know that your child is not who God has for your best friend? How do you know that your ex or your best friend's ex wasn't who you were meant to be with anyway? Think about that. How do you know that you wasn't the source, or you wasn't the reason, you were the vessel used to bring these two together? What are we really fearing, people of God? Are we really fearing that somebody else can make this person happy? Or are you really fearing that somebody can truly be happy with somebody you view different? You know, think about that. See, I know the relationships I've been in, especially with my son, mom. And if one of my best friends wanted to take them, have them. You can take them all. Take all. Matter of fact, I give wrap them to here you go. Take them. Matter of fact, I'll pay for your first. I'll pay for your first dinner. Just don't bring them back. Yeah, take them. Oh yeah, you can have them. Go ahead. I'm just messing with you. But what I'm saying is that will we have a problem with that? I me personally, there are some things I would have a problem with. Definitely with my kids. I would be livid at somebody wanting to date my kids, that are my best friends. But if my son decides to date somebody older or date somebody my age, and that person wanted, nothing I can say about that. But I mean, it's not. I won't agree with it, but there's nothing I can say about that. But here's the thing: can we really do something? Can we really do something? If your best friend dated your daughter or dated your son, what could you really do about it? Can you really do something about it? Is it worth throwing away a 30-year relationship because of it? Is it worth losing a relationship with your child because of it? If we disagree, and I've learned this the hard way, the more you push at somebody, the more you push them into something. A lot of people do things out of spite and out of point. A lot of times, see, a lot of people, that's why I always talk about after the fight. Because the one thing about everything you do in a fight, there's an after the fight. And a lot of people don't prepare for after the fight. See, when you in a fight, there's going to come a time where the fight is over. Then what? It's just a lot of these boxers. A lot of these boxers go through all this money. You look at Mike Tyson, all the money that Mike Tyson made, and you look at what he got today. Still rich, still living a good life, but he has nowhere near his money, even though he's been robbed by Don King and a few other people. But here's the thing: a lot of people don't prepare for after the fight. And I tell a lot of people, where's the respect? Got you, Spook. Call in, man, at 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. I feel you on that. Spook said, what about the respect? But what if these people ordained? Is God wrong for saying, if God says that he has somebody for me and that happened to be your ex, is that wrong? Are you going to tell God he's wrong? Think about this. Is it that is our hangups is going to stop divine purpose? Think about something. Because again, who we choose ain't always who God chooses for us. And just because somebody was somebody's ex doesn't mean that they're going to be, because a lot of times certain people don't get along together. There might come a man, and I'm sure there's going to come a man that's going to marry one of my exes, or, and they're going to treat them good, and they're going to get along together. It doesn't mean that it was something wrong, or maybe my best friend can't treat my ex better. Should they have the right to have that chance? See, we look at it from our point, but are we looking at it from a selfish point? Are we looking at it from a point of feelings? What about me? What about regards to my feelings? Or are we looking at it from a point that maybe we know something about this person, or maybe it's not right? I don't know. But that's today's question, people. Should there be date limitations? Now, I'm speaking from what I would do, and I'm speaking from a point of view of let's think about that. You know, let's think about that. I know a person that met a person the same day they got married. They met him, married him, and then they're happy today. But to come to find out that the person that they married dated their brother. But does that have a fact with that? I work for a parking company where one of the guys I work with married his brother's wife, and they're still together with more kids. The brother and the wife got divorced. He married his brother's wife. Now, somebody might be like, wow, but him and his brother used to fight all the time, physically fight. They used to get into everything. And every time they get into a physical fight, he had to comfort her. So one day they had enough, they got a divorce, and he decided to marry his brother's wife. Is that nasty? My eyesight, that is. I wouldn't do that. But did they really have a right to do that? That makes people think. Is there date limitations? Just think. You just broke up with a lady and you're married. Now let me throw this scenario out there because I want people to really think about this. You broke up with a lady. You guys have been together for 3 years. In that time, you get married. She come back around and want to date one of your best friends. Could you deal with that? Could you sit down and talk to her or go out all together with you and your best friend with her? Could you be happy for your best friend? You know, would it really make you jealous to see them happy and having a good time? Would it make your wife feel some kind of way because you with your best friend and your ex? Would you even tell your wife that used to be your ex? What would happen? Now, me personally, I would wish them luck, but we ain't gonna sit down and conversate. You know, I don't want to do that because I don't ever want something to slip out. Because see, those opportunities like that is opportunities for disaster because something bad can slip out. You know, especially if you talk about something romantic, and you talk about something romantic like, hey, me and her going away to Jamaica or Cancun or the Bahamas for a weekend. You know, we ain't coming out the room, okay? And she might say, yeah, I remember the time we used to spend like that. Remember? That would just, woo, that would just, man, that would just, somebody would go home. I know would go home in a body bag that night. Because I know my wife and fiance, my wife would be like, man, listen, what do you want to wear for your funeral? So I'm sorry about that, people. Some things should not be said and should not be done. I would wish them luck. They will have my blessing. But I wouldn't go to the wedding. And this is my best friend. I need you to be my best man. I can't do that. Because I know the woman you're married intimately. But as a parent, can I really deal with my best friend being intimate with my child? That would really, I couldn't stop it. But this person could never be invited in my house. And if you do come over as my child, you cannot come over with that person. Because that is something that, especially when you know the terrible things about your best friend, or you know all the bad things about your best friend, And a lot of times the kids think we're trying to protect them. We're trying to spoil their fun, not understanding. This is something I always say. A lot of the generation today don't understand. We're not trying to take your fun as kids. We're not trying. What we're trying to do is stop you from making the same mistakes. Because some of these mistakes you can never, sometimes you can't recover from, or it takes you 20 years to recover from. I have to tell my oldest son this all the time. You think this soup is a new soup. It's just a reheated, recycled soup. And a lot of things that you think you're doing and you think you know, we already lived it. My day, they had drugs, they had alcohol, they had weed. They had everything you got in your day. And a lot of these kids don't understand that. All you're doing is recycling a culture. And see, that's what people want you to do. Keep recycling a culture. So is there date limitations? Is there date limitations with age? I'm 44. Can I date a woman that's 70 years old? And listen, it ain't like it's not no fine 77-year-olds out there, because I know a few of them. Because I remember at work, I ran into a lady when I walked, and I tell you, this lady was drop dead gorgeous, silky gray hair, had a shape out of this world. She had the prettiest skin you want. And some guy came with gray hair in his beard, gray hair on his hair. He looked like her husband. And when he walked up, and I said, "Hey, sir, how you doing? I was just talking to your wife. Congratulate her. She's a very beautiful lady." I said, "You're a very lucky man." He said, "This is my mama." I said, "What?" He said, "This is my mama." You know how old she is? I said, "How old?" 72 years old. I looked at her like, you couldn't be. And again, and so she said to me, "Son, I'm old enough to be your mom, old enough to be your grandma." She said, "What would your mom say to me if you brought a 72-year-old woman home?" I said, "She would say to me that if I told her that you crazy because you're older than my mom. But when she see you, she would be like, you right on the money." So is there a limitation in age? Now, of course, you're going to get a lot older than I will. And of course, you've been through a lot more than I've been through, because that was the whole thing about young men dating older women, or older men dating younger women, is the kids factor. Because somebody that's in older don't want to have kids. Like I didn't want to have any more kids. I got 3 kids. I love them to death. 2 Corey, 2 Kyrie, and 1 Kyrie. I love them to death. I no longer want to have kids. That's why when I met my fiance, she can't have no more kids. I'm good with that, because I didn't want any more kids. You know, my youngest is 9. That's it. But when you think about that, is there limitations in date? How young is too young? I mean, I'm talking about grown. How young is too grown? Is a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old bad for a 45-year-old or a 50-year-old? You know, would you have a problem with that? Is it a cliche behind people date? You know, we got this term cougar. We got sugar daddy, but is happiness determined by age? You know, there are a lot of mature ladies that I've met, a lot of mature women at the age of 25, some at 20, that older and mature than some that's 45. You know, what is it? But can you do that? You know, there was a case where there was a man that dated, that was in the house. It was on a Jerry Jones show, Jerry Springer show, where he slept with the daughter, the mother, and the grandma. Now that's terrible. That is horrible. But is there a limitation for dating? And again, people, call in 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Here's something. What if you in school? You're in college. Could your professor date your mom? What if you work at a company? Could your boss date your mom? Or let's get really interested with this. You work at a company and you introduce your boss to your ex. So I'm hanging out at a party, and I have to, and my ex is there with somebody else, and they just come as a party with their what she with a girlfriend, and my boss is there, and my boss say, hey man, who is that? You know, man, I introduce them, and they end up dating. Could you deal with that? You know, I probably quit because I couldn't deal with that. Because then I know some of my exes would be like, listen, fire him, you know. But then if I pay child support to them, I might keep my job. Listen, he threatened on firing me. Listen, holler at him so I can keep my job. But could you deal with that? It is very interesting, the non-spoken limitation we put on people. And a lot of people say you should know this already. You should know that some people are off limit. But let me tell you something that blew me away when I was reading this yesterday about statistics. Do you know that 72% of friendships break up for inter-family dating? Think about this. 72% break up for inter-family dating. Do you know that another most friendships that's been 25 years and over break up? This is 69% of them break up because the best friend decided to date the ex. Think about this. This is going to really blow you away. That since 2014, that a lot of the homicides, I think if I wasn't 30, and I'll make sure I got that right, I wrote it up, 37% of the homicides, X is an X for a reason, 37% of homicides is because family members dated exes of other family members. Now, Vanessa said an X is an X for a reason. Yeah, but Vanessa, does that ex have a right to date your best friend? Now, we talk about respect, but what about being grown? I agree with it, respect. But what about being grown? Do I have the right as a grown person? Please call in at 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Do I have she said, hell to the no. Why don't I? I'm grown. You know, I'm grown. Let's say, Vanessa, I'm grown, and your daughter is grown. And I'm just speaking hypothetically. Please, no offense. And your daughter's grown. And she says, I want to date him. Are we really doing something wrong being that I'm your friend? You know, is that wrong? I'm going to call you that. That's going to call me on that one. The number is 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Again, people of God, if you just tuned in, we're talking about date limitations. Is it okay for your best friend to date your daughter or son? Is it okay for your ex to date your best friend? Or is it okay for your family members to date your ex? Is there a hidden limitation, or is there a hidden respect that should be shown? Hey, this is Minister Wright. You're on Solution Radio Show. Who's this? Hello? 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 I guess they'll call back. Again, 708. Okay, I guess they'll call back. But is there a limitation? Should adults have limitations? Should people say that, or should they have a right to date? You on the Solution Radio Show, Minister Wright. Who's this?
Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa. hey. Now, you know this is a good subject. I'm glad I got you calling in. This is a hot subject. But should the adults have a right to date who they want to date?
An ex is an ex for a reason. You have to have some type of respect, some integrity, some character, something. It's too many people in this world where you only could be able to date that ex. That's the only person that's available to you.
So what are they guilty of? What are they doing wrong?
There's no respect. You have no respect for the person because first of all, you bring in that mess to the next person. Regardless if you've been is over and done over for years, it does not matter. You do not bring that old feelings back up.
So
that's old feelings that you're bringing back up. You bring a message to somebody else's household. And not only that, you didn't even appreciate our relationship to be able to go after somebody that I was dating. You just don't do that. You do not cross that line. That's messy.
So, okay, what if your best friend is better for your ex?
If you're my best friend, you knew what me and him went through. Really? You the better person, but you're supposed to be my best friend. Who are you more loyal to?
Okay. Now let's take it to another level. Let's take it to spiritual level. What if God ordained that person, them two, to be together? Are you wrong for interfering, or are you wrong for saying that they're not supposed to be?
People love bringing in God into this. and we got to stop doing that. God is not the crutch. We cannot be able to do that. That's crazy. God is not for mess. Okay. So we already know that, right? So if he's not for mess, there's going to be, he made that one person is just for you. One.
Okay.
But then he also knows that why would I want to be able to bring that mess to her? Knowing that this person, they had relations together. Because he knows what we do before we even done it.
But now, let's go to another. Let's take it another view. Okay, let's say, for instance, you with a man that you treat terrible. You put him down, you treat him bad, you talk about him and you belittle him, but you have a friend that treat him like respect. So you guys realize, you know what, this is not good. We can't get along together, and they get along together. Could you be happy for that? Not saying that he did anything to you. You probably was let's say you're the bad person. You're the one that treated him like that. Would you have a problem with him being good with somebody else?
I would not have a problem being good for somebody else. But don't be good with somebody else around the people that I brought you around. That's wrong. So that's still wrong. You got to have some type of respect. Nobody is perfect. At the end of the day, before people even be able to get into a relationship, they need to know who they are first. That's why a lot of this mess is going on right now. You don't know who you are, so you just gonna go ahead and settle for anything else that comes along.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and just take it to a whole nother level. If grown folks go, you know how I say it, grown folks know what the heck they want. We're going to stop playing these games.
Come on.
So therefore, that means whoever I bring around you, I'm hoping that you're going to have enough respect not to give a little side eye, taking notes, doing none of that. Take the time to be able to build a relationship, a friendship with that person before you even start having relations with that person. That's two different things.
Okay.
Now a lot of this stuff could be avoided.
Okay, now let's go to another level. Let's go to the next level. I'm a good man. I'm your best friend. We done spent a lot of years together, and I want to date your daughter. You got a problem with that?
Yeah, I got a problem with that.
Why?
See, I experienced this already. Let's go ahead and go there.
Come on.
I experienced this with someone who I was dating for like 5 years. And so the relationship ended, it was done, it was over with. And my cousin knew that she seen him with her in-law.
What?
He turns around, we had a conversation, and he slipped up and said the name. And I said, why did his name sound so familiar? But see, I'm not slow, I'm not dumb, and I'm not stupid. Because you're going to get caught up eventually, right?
Right.
And so I turned around and I wound up saying something to my cousin, and she turns around and says something that didn't make sense. And this is my cousin. Right? So I turned around, took a step back at the situation, reevaluate everything, put the pieces together, and I turned around and have a conversation with him. And he turned around and he finally admitted it, that so-called he didn't know who she was. But my cousin never told me that he was dating her. Yes, we are ex, but the girl knew who I was.
Wow. Well, okay. Did they do something wrong? I mean, that's your ex. Don't they have a right to be together?
No. Absolutely not. Did you not hear? My cousin knew about it. My cousin never told me about it.
Okay.
And the girl knew who I was. And they want to, mingling all together. So you basically playing two folks like a two-faced person.
But now this person, let me understand this now. This person is your ex. You don't have a relationship with him. Does that person have a right to be with who they want to be with?
You could be with whoever the heck you want to be with, but you need to still, at the end of the day, you have to have respect. So you didn't respect that we was in a relationship for 5 years. You see that now that you recognize that this person is somebody that we know in the family, why the heck would you still continue on being with that person, but expect me to still be associated with you?
Okay, they came to you. Okay, they came to you. They said, Vanessa, you're not with this person no more. Hey, I know we family, but we want to be together. We want your blessings. You know, because
you're not getting my blessing. That mess, heck no. No, you telling me all these people in this world that you can't find nobody else, but you just want to find something that's convenient? That's convenient. I made it easy for you. So basically all your work is sloppy seconds?
Well, somebody's loss could be somebody else's gain. Right?
Corey, you a man and I'm a woman. You gonna think the way you gonna think and I'm gonna think the way I want to think. Remember, women are emotional. Y'all can go on and you can do whatever the heck you want to do with whoever you want to do with and not think twice about it, right? But let a woman do what you guys do. We called every name in the book.
No, well, listen, I don't agree with it, and I wouldn't do it. But my question is, what can you really do about? I mean, because my thing is, if this person is my ex now, and they decide to date my cousin, I would not like it. I'm right there with you. I agree. But what can I really do? And then what did they really do to me? Is it the fact that, is it a fear in us personally that we don't want to see them grow because they can grow with us?
And at the end of the day, don't expect me to be around to be all happy-go-lucky either. We can't be, it's not, that means you don't sit there and you put poison into something that shouldn't have, that's contaminated now.
Okay.
So therefore, how can I, like now, me and my cousin, we don't talk to this day.
Wow, y'all haven't talked to this day?
You think I'm going to be around something like that if I could sit there, open up my doors to my house to you, and I could be able to have a conversation with you about the person that I'm dating, but then you knew as a secret, but didn't tell me that he was really dating your in-law, but you want to come back and smile in my face, but you going back and taking them information? For real though?
Well, I'm taking it and talking to you, I'm taking it this person did you wrong, correct? Whoever this guy was.
That's wrong because you knew that that's my ex. And my ex is dating your in-law, but you're still in my face. We have conversations every day. So wrong is wrong. You just cannot do that. There's no respect there. So you telling me you would rather be in the middle of mess and mess up our relationship? If that's what's more important to you, then you can have it, because I don't involve myself in mess.
Well, how is it mess if you and listen? I feel what you're saying, but you know, I got to be devil advocate some days. You know, you best. You've been knowing me. Yeah. You've been knowing me, and you've been on my show. And you know how I am. I got to be devil advocate. How do they do anything wrong if it's two consenting adults being happy, no matter what the relationship? Because the relationship and the function of their relationship has nothing to do with you, or it's not around you. But you no longer have any ties to them. That's just like, if you get married, like say if it's me and you get married.
Okay, what makes you think I didn't have any ties to that? There's no need for you to be in contact with me still, but then on the other side, you getting information and you over here doing this dirt with this person, but then you still want to still keep me attached. Like they say, you supposed to keep your enemies closer.
Okay, let's say if it's me and you get married, okay? We get married and that situation is still in existence. How would you think that would make me feel if you got to worry about your ex and what your ex is doing?
I'm not worried about it. You got to make a decision. Do you want that person in your life, knowing darn well what they've done, right? Because I already gave you inside scoop to this person I was dating.
Well, maybe that could have been with you and him. Maybe that could have been with you and them. It might be, some people just don't get along together. Maybe that might just been you and him that way. Maybe they get along together. Maybe they can make things work.
You could go ahead and you could get along with that person, but don't expect me and be in the mix of the mingle of y'all. Okay. I'm not doing that. That's messy.
Let me push
that is messy.
Let me push your envelope. You know I got to push your envelope because you're an amazing speaker.
And I'm going to push it back. Come on.
Push your envelope. You just jealous. You just jealous. You just mad because you couldn't satisfy him and keep him, and now he with me. And now you mad. You know, if you would worry about taking care of you and your man, I wouldn't have him in the first place. What you say to that?
I laugh because that's funny. That's funny. See, people, this is the thing that people fail to realize. You see the outer of what's going on with that person. You see the exterior of how that person may look and how you think that person may treat you, but you really don't know. You don't know like that. What you know, I'm only going to give you as much as I'm willing to give you. But then you turn around and you still, at the end of the day, knowing that I was with that person, you have to have their respect. I don't care how much we get along. I'm not doing that. I'm just not.
Now, does a lot have to do with it, especially if your ex is with a family member or with your best friend, if you guys been physical? Does that take it to a whole nother level then?
That's a whole nother level. That's like you done took it out the ballpark. Just let me give you another scenario.
Come on.
And now, because, you know, I'll go there. I mean,
I ain't scared of you, Vanessa. You know what's up, partner. I went to finger, y'all. All y'all finger titans out there. What's up?
You know, it was a situation like with one of my friends who I went to grammar school with and high school with. And we touched bases from time to time or whatever, but you know how you lose that connection after so many years or what have you living life. Okay. And so she had kids. And when she had these kids, I called to congratulate her on her kids. But then she wound up saying a name. And I said, wait a minute, who? Come to find out, she had kids with my ex-husband.
She had kids with your friend from high school. And she did not even have
she didn't have a clue. She didn't know that's who I was married to because it was a short marriage. But now that she has kids by this person never told the whole truth. So this is what I'm saying to you, just like I told you before. People look at that exterior and think that it's all gravy. But with the person who they've been with, they got a chance to get to know the inner, most vulnerable moments of that person.
Okay.
And now you get that piece that you thought was gravy, and now you really see that it wasn't gravy, it was mud.
Well, let's talk about redemption. Could it be somebody, you know, let's talk about, could it be that some people are good with people to turn them into better people? You know, that some people make them better. You know, some people bring them peace. You know, because there's a truth that I always say that a lot of people that in our lives, we attract by what we don't let go in us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are mirrors or reflections of what we are inside. You know, there was a time where I needed to be saved. So I was always going at the people that was broken that need to be saved. But what if at the time this person left and with somebody who saved them, changed them? Could they not be the same people?
Okay, you could be that and move on.
Yeah, but
my thing is, when you are ex, period, you just have to understand those boundaries. There's boundaries. I don't care if that person came in your life and was a great friend, and that's what they was, but you didn't cross that line. You cannot cross the line. There's a line that you just do not cross.
And why is that line there? Because if somebody was bad to me, no matter where they at, who they with, if I'm happy and I got all that God has for me, why should it bother me? You know, is it a hidden jealousy that we don't talk about?
It don't have to be no hidden jealousy. It's about the respect. Okay. You know, it's so much backstabbing that's going on in this world today. You trying to tell me that your loyalty, my loyalty, and our relationship and everything else, it didn't mean anything. The years that we have invested in one another does not mean anything. But this one person will come in and destroy everything that we have built in a blink of an eye. If that's what's worth it, then you can have it. We would put it up in a bow and tie it up for you. Because I just choose not to have any of the hell in my life that you choose to bring with you, because this is what you choose to make this decision with this person.
But you know what? I have realized, Vanessa, that there are just some people that I can't get along with. There are some people that no matter what, and I have kids by ladies that I can never sit down and ever have a conversation with. So there are just some people that I just cannot, I don't care what they do, we're never going to get along together.
But see, this is the thing, Corey. I remember we was gonna have this conversation before. We never had this conversation. Now you said that you have kids by this lady that you will never be able to sit down and have a conversation with. My thing is, you had two children by this lady.
No,
right?
I have one. I got 3 baby
You have
mamas.
one? Okay. So if you have one by this person who you cannot sit down and have a conversation with, well, when did you have a conversation with her before? Was the relationship better before you had this child or after you have this child?
Well, the thing was, when we was making the child, we wasn't doing no talking. I'm just joking. No, what I'm saying is that, it was about physical. So we never had good communications anyway. But again, she wasn't the right person.
But see, this is my thing. See, this is the thing that I hear you bring this up often about this person that you can never have, sit down and have this conversation.
All 3 of them, I can't.
Okay, you can have those. So my thing is, if you can't have a conversation with all 3 of them, have you thought about maybe it's you?
Could be. Absolutely.
Because it's a pattern that's going on. This is the same thing with the ex. It's like we go from one relationship to another. It's a pattern that's going on. At what point in time will we be able to sit down and have a real grown folks conversation? Because now you have children involved. It's about the child. It's not really about the adult.
I agree.
It's about the children.
There you go.
To be able to have that communication. So now that you're in this conversation that you're having about the show today, you need to be able to have an adult conversation about relationships.
I'm glad you went. I'm glad you went there. I'm glad you went there. You know why? It's because they don't want to have a conversation about the kids. It's about the feelings. See, that's the thing. That's where that magic. I'm glad you said that, Vanessa. Boom. That's where the magic line, the line comes from. It doesn't come from the me and them. See, if it was about the kids, we would have that. But it's about the feelings and the fact that I'm no longer with you. That's where the problem comes in. And that's where the problem comes in with our ex going with somebody we know, somebody, our family members, anybody, with our best friend, anybody, because we still have unresolved feelings. And that's why. Because if somebody was so terrible, you know what, Vanessa? The more you dislike and hate somebody, and the more you do evil to them, that's the person you haven't forgiven, even yourself. Come on.
Come on, who? You?
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got me.
This thing, I can know how to forgive. That's not a problem. I wrote the book. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, you have to have some type of respect. You have to. If you're not going to have that respect for yourself, at least you want to be able to have that respect for the relationship that you have built.
And that's the thing.
And so, like with you said something about emotions. Emotions is there with the women that you had children with. Well, you only had an emotional relationship anyway. So why you didn't protect yourself?
You know
we
what?
Can't be pointing a finger at one person
you know what?
and not looking at the other side of it.
But see, you know what? But here's the thing.
Corey, now you know how I am. Stop playing.
I got you. I wish you was here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go. I'm trying to call Scotty right now to beam you over here. but here's the thing. Here's the thing. All that built up has nothing to do with the kid.
It don't have nothing to do with the kids. But my thing is, we got to stop getting into these relationships. And now our children are caught in the relationship. It's just not fair. And so now we have shown them this pattern of doing the same thing in their adult life, of getting into this messed up situation that's going on now. So when is somebody going to take the stand to say, you know what, I'm going to put my ego and I'm going to put my pride to the side and I'm going to do what's right. Yes, me and you may have a great connection and that could be absolutely amazing. However, I'm going to go ahead and have that respect, because at the end of the day, I don't want to bring that hell to her, and I definitely don't want to bring that in, because karma is real. Right? And now that we have these children involved, we need to be able to show our children a better way of getting along.
And see, here's the thing right here, Vanessa, that a lot of people don't get, is that they're not preparing for after the fight. See, once you do whatever you do to keep something going evil or bad, there's after a fight.
Okay, but are we prepared to have these children? We wasn't prepared to have these children.
Well, see, a lot of times you have the kids, you with somebody, but a lot of times we use the kids as a weapons. We use them as weapons because you know why? That's the only way you can get back at this man. It's the only way I can get back at him by using his kid as a weapon. And see, here's the thing that you don't understand is that that's why they call it generational curses, generational cycles. It's reruns. You know, rerun life. It reruns. But here's the thing. If we got out of our feelings and it was about the kid, when anybody can't, you know, the greatest divorce term it is irreconcilable differences. You know what that means? Nobody is listening to nobody, and nobody is getting out of their feelings. And as long as they stay in their feelings, I'm gonna keep on doing it.
See, this is amazing that you're saying this, is because that's my mission. That's my ultimate goal, is to be able to break this generational curse, right? Because I was the first one in my family to be able to break that generational curse. I was the first one to be able to do amazing things with God.
You are amazing,
Lord. But now here I am. God has taken me to another level where now I am doing an anthology that's going to drop at the beginning of the year, and it's about what's going on right now between men and women.
Come on.
And our communication barrier. And the name of is going to be dropping, I think, sometime this weekend. It's going to be called, the name of the book is called Cries of a Broken Man and Screams of a Broken Woman. To communicate with one another. We just don't. We're not taking that time to be able to get to know each other, date each other before we say I love you. We use that word so loosely. We got to stop to be able to do things totally different so we can show our children different. Because look what's going on in this society now. We don't want our children to go through the things that we're going through.
Right.
So we got to be able to show them something totally different. And so who's going to take that stand? Somebody got to take the stand, because we can have this conversation all day long.
Right.
But when is somebody going to really take a stand to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to be able to show people that there is a way that we can be able to turn this thing around to make not only our households better, but to be able to show people that it's possible to make it better. I have grandchildren now. I don't want my grandchildren to have to go through the things that I went through. I got to show them a better way. So, Corey, you may not have a relationship with your children right now. I mean, with the parents, the mothers of your children. But you got to show them a better way, because now here you are, you're about to get ready to get married. Do it better.
You know what?
That's the ultimate goal.
And you know what? I thank God for the lady that I am about to marry, because she makes me so much better and such a peace. And you know what? The thing is that even though this is a fight now, I'm preparing for after the fight. And we're working towards so many things after that fight. And that's what I'm not taking this time that I have, or this time that I am beefing lightly. I'm working hard on the things that I'm doing now, so that a lot of those things will change as God elevates me.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. You're work in progress. Everybody's a work in progress, but make it happen. We got to stop talking and make it happen. We have to, because our children are watching us. They're listening.
All right. I appreciate your call, man. You done took it to another level, Vanessa Canterbury, y'all.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
hey, you want to sit out the plug? Well, they can reach you, because I know there's a lot of people going to talk like, go on, girl, go ahead.
They can find me on social media. In my comments, they can be able to connect with me on social media, Vanessa Canterbury, and also inspiredbyvanessa.com.
Inspiredbyvanessa.com. One of my best friends, my homie, my best friend. I love you, man. You're amazing.
Thank you so much, Curry. Well, you keep doing what you're doing, and just remember, move forward, not backwards.
All right. Even if I fall on my face, I'm still moving forward, right?
That's all you can do. Get back up.
All right, Vanessa. I'll talk to you later.
All righty.
All right. Bless you. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Woo! Let me see what Miss Cree said. I have a cousin that slept with the same man that I've been with, and also know others who have currently dealing with that. And the same situation. And wow. And wow. I got a friend listening to you. Most of our showbiz people want to join your broadcast. Wow. Okay, come on. I'll let you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Cheryl. You can come on in. Wow. See, so Miss Cree says she's got a cousin. She's got a cousin that slept with her man. And now that's, and I'm here with Vanessa saying, and everybody's saying, see, that's wrong. Hey, you welcome, Vanessa. Thank you. I love you. You awesome. That's wrong. Because see, now what I'm talking about is people who dealing with who you're not with. But she said that somebody was sleeping, her cousin was sleeping with her man, and people dealing with that. Miss Cree, if you watch it, call in at 1-708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. If you got a cousin that's cheating or somebody cheating on, that's absolutely wrong. I don't agree with that. What I was saying was, if this person, you're no longer together, you guys are no longer together, then why shouldn't you be able to date whoever you want to date? Or if you're happy with somebody, you married, why should you want to date? Why should it matter if you want to date somebody else, or you want to date my ex? Because maybe you could be better with my ex. Maybe you might be better. I don't know, but should adults have a right to choose? Because see, we were talking about, when me and Vanessa was talking about the relationships that you have with your ex and relationships I have with my son and mom, because it has nothing to do with the kids. Because if it was about the kids, we can work together. But it's all about feelings. And see, a lot of those imaginary lines is because people got feelings that they have not dealt with. And let's be real about it. Everybody won't admit this, but nobody wants to see your ex do good with somebody you know. That is a bottom line underneath fact that nobody is talking about. Because the last thing I want to see is my best friend with my ex, and they get married, they got houses, they got business. You know what I mean? Because again, my friend, like I told you, had a bottle of champagne for me. He had a bottle of champagne for me because I gave him the best thing in his life. Now, I can say now and old, and even though I got that bottle of champagne, I felt good, and I might have felt stupid at that age, but I didn't feel stupid then because at that age I wasn't ready. And maybe if I would have went along with her, maybe I could have got ready, but maybe I could have messed it up. And see, a lot of things, that's why a lot of things have to be in God timing. Because when I got my fiance, who I'm with now, the love of my life, the one that's with me, she got me when I went through a transition. That was after surgery. That was after a lot of cleaning. That was just the weight being removed from my body, but the weight being removed from my mind. That was from a lot of things, because with her, the books and the things that God has given me to do flow out. And a lot of the stuff that's been happening, she always got my back, but she gives me something I've had with no other person. It's peace. And see, a lot of times we say what people do or what they've been through, but if we're not providing peace to somebody, how can we get mad by somebody else providing peace? Because a lot has to do with, and if somebody want to comment, again, 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Most times we don't want to see something that we threw away better. Now, I can understand that if you're my best friend and you start to date my child, then I can have a what did Tonette say? Hell to the dog, dog. Hey, call in, Tonette. 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Why is that date limitation? Now, let's say your daughter grown. Your daughter's grown. I know, you went to high school, but your daughter over 21. Should she not have a right to date who she will? Should your best friend have a right to date your daughter? If you guys are both consenting adults, you might not like it, but are they really doing something wrong? Is your ex doing something wrong if your ex date your ex? Now, I'm talking about your ex. You no longer with this person. Is this person wrong? If that person, is your family member wrong? If is that family member wrong? If that family member wants to date your ex, you're married, you done moved on, you got kids, you got family, then why is it that this person is wrong? Is it that we got a hidden jealousy, and that line that we don't put on is hidden jealousy? They should respect the prior relationship. Okay, they do, but the prior relationship is just that, prior. You know, call in 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. It's prior. Tonette, you done moved on. You married, you got a house, you got kids. Why should it bother you? Well, why they got to find somebody else? Why they got to find somebody else? Why can't they? This is a good man. This is because this person could have changed from the last time they've been with you. This person could have found God. Now, this person found God. Why can't they be happy with somebody else? You know, why they can't be happy with two people you know being happy together? Should it bother you? Should it matter that this person is your best friend? Should it matter that this person is a family member? Why should it matter? Especially if you moved on. See, why do they need my leftovers? Why are they your leftovers if you found something new? See, what you old to you might be new to somebody else. And we say leftover. See, what I'm exposing with this topic right now is there a hidden jealousy. Because a lot of times when we leave an ex, we don't really want to see them happy. That's it. A lot of times we want to see people miserable and desolate. You did me wrong. You didn't treat me good. And I don't want you to be better with nobody else. I want you to be by yourself. I want you to be miserable. You know, a lot of times, that's why I know you didn't have somebody in your life that's hating the fact that you in a new relationship and you knew happy. You know, nobody is, especially an ex of mine, or respect is not jealousy. What respect is there? Don't a person have a right to live their life? You know, now, don't get me wrong, Tony. I agree. I agree that you should date my child, my ex should date. I agree. But what I'm talking about from a moral standpoint, what did they really do wrong? Or is it feelings that I haven't dealt with before? You know, because I'm telling you, a lot of times you can be married to the wonderfulest person you ever been with, and you see your ex happy. Now, a lot of people say, well, it don't bother me. Yes, it does. Because a lot of time it does. There is nobody I've been in a relationship right now that I've ever been in a relationship with, or if I've had kids with, I'll be happy about my relationship now. He ain't never going to date my daughter or my sister if this is not in my family. Okay? But what if he do? What if he do? And here's the thing. What if he dates your sister? And what if he's good to your sister, good with your sister or your family member, and they doing great? You have a problem with that, especially you done moved on. Because, see, a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, I'm just being the devil advocate. I'm just being the opposite. Because, you know, because I got to see all points of view in a radio show. Because I would have a problem with it myself. I definitely would have a problem with it myself. But did they really do something wrong? Why am I worried about whatever my ex does? Why should I care? We will have community pipe ever. Community, girl, you got to call in 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. I want to talk to you, Tony. I want to really know what you think. Because you know why? There is a line of respect that shouldn't be crossed. But why is that line of respect there? What is behind that line? Is it, you know, you'll find another family member and go be great. Go be great. That's true. It could. Here, I got to call in. Hey, you on over Minister Wright? Who's this?
This is Shirley King, Reverend Wright. How you doing?
Hey, Shirley King, y'all. Got BB King daughter on the phone. What's up?
I definitely had to get in on this conversation. You know, when it gets me real good, I go to the line and let all of my friends know, because I have dealt with this type of situation. So I am one can speak on it. I wrote about it in my book. But you know what? Since that happened, God have gave me a new revelation on people doing something of that sort. You know what I mean? And so I was listening to the lady talk before me, and I'm thinking to myself how bad I thought that hurted me. I never, ever stopped talking about that. Almost 30-some years later, and I was still talking about my best friend ended up marrying my boyfriend, which had been a boyfriend ever since I was a little girl. But what I saw in that is that was hurting me probably more than it was hurting them, because it didn't matter to them at first to get together. Then it turned around and became like so comfortable. Everybody on his side of his family, on her side of her family, and even on my family, never talked about that again. It was like he didn't exist because he was no longer an ex, nothing in my life. Because long as he was an ex, it was burdening me. It was a lot of pressure on me to hold on to resentment that my so-called best friend married my boyfriend. And today I want to thank God for giving me the feel and the heart to say, I forgive you. She must have said the same thing, because now she's a friend of mine again on my Facebook. The boyfriend is gone. I'm very tight with the family. You know, it's like it never exists, but as long as I was holding on to that hurt about a girlfriend, you know, I didn't care about anybody else, but this was a person that I love, I cherish. I even gave my mama shoes to and got the heck beat out of me, but I didn't care because that was my friend.
Now,
and I can't believe how God has entered me enough to forgive, and I feel so much better. And that guy, right before he passed, we're back friends again. We didn't have to drag it up about what we had or what we did, because as the word EX said, we were X. And if he could be happy with somebody and not me, I accepted that. It took a while, though. It took about 30-some years for me to accept.
Wow.
He married who he was supposed to marry. You know, I thought it was supposed to be me, but that was my thought. I had no sign from God saying that was my husband. And my mother did tell me that one day I would be glad that I let that man go with whoever he wanted to go with, because of the family history of drinking. So, you know, sometimes when we get with people and we thinking we losing something, we might be losing something good enough for God to put something right in our life. It might be that he's removing that X out of our way so we can get what's good that's going to make us happy. And if they become happy with whoever they with, then we both are happy now. We're not miserable with each other, because there's a such thing as being miserable with somebody and being happy with somebody. So I agree with you that if somebody I used to go with is happy with somebody else, then my happiness shown towards them will let God put happiness in my life. All of going behind somebody is very few people meet each other, virgins, and get together. 2 times out of 10, if you go on with a man, he done been in a relationship or he have kids, and that becomes a problem with our world today. It's not hardly nobody we can get that we are the first in their life. Even as a virgin, I didn't get the person that I thought was first in my life because he had dealt with my girlfriend already.
Now, let me ask you a question. So a lot of times the hidden line is the resentment we don't let go, correct?
Right.
Because we don't want to see this person happy with anybody because they're not happy with us. And we chose them. Doesn't mean that God chose them, correct?
That's right. We wanted to feel like, you know, we were the best person for them, but if we wasn't happy, we wasn't the best person. And I thank God today that every person I ever deal with, I'm able to still be friends with today, no matter who they with. Now, I think it would go a little deep if they got with my cousin or my daughter or my mother or somebody, but I'm sure being a person that believes that God wanted me with the best, so he took me from the rest. And if that was X behind that's still living to see me happy, then that's what God wanted. You know, maybe you didn't realize how good a woman I was. And when you realize that somebody else already knew it, and now they're with me, so you'll get a chance to sit back and wish you had kept me there if I was meant for you. But if I wasn't meant for you, God gonna pluck you out so somebody good for me can be there in my life.
Right. And everybody's not meant for you, you know. And for me, if I moved on, you know, I wouldn't like it if somebody dated my cousin, would date my best friend or something, or my family. But if I have moved on, I'm happy with who God wants me to be. I don't have to be around it, but you know, I'm over it. So it shouldn't matter who they date. If they're happy, they're happy. It doesn't infringe on my happiness. Correct?
I think, and this is just my opinion, and I have some of my friends listening, so I'm not going to say anything now that I can't say in the world because I'm not in the church. I went through that fighting in the church. I'm outside of the church, but my friends are going through a lot of the stuff that you were talking about. A lot of us have had to endure maybe going behind somebody and everything. That's not what we chose to do, but it's not a whole lot of people left out here that haven't already had somebody, you know, before we get to them. A lot of them have kids by somebody. A lot of them just went with somebody, wasn't even taking it serious. So we're all second. I don't call myself a sloppy second. I call myself a person that came maybe behind somebody that didn't appreciate what they had, or either they can see me the same way. You know, I can't speak for everybody. This is just my opinion. And since I've been through this, and I thank God every morning I wake up now. I'm not in church being holy roly, but I thank God every morning for waking up, looking on Facebook, seeing my ex-wife, because he married her. Seeing my my ex-boyfriend's wife on there wishing me God's best and checking out what's happening in my life and being back to the friend that we were. We're not hanging out together. We don't go out together, but I've even offered her to have lunch because I'm happy to have her friendship back. That man was no longer a threat to neither one of us because neither one of us have him now. And guess what? He's not even here on earth anymore. So our friendship picked up where it left off at. Now, I don't know if this could happen if it was a cousin or a daughter or somebody that close. I don't know about that one. I can only speak about what I've been through. I can only testify to what I've been through. And this was definitely a conversation that I can talk about. It's in my book. Everybody in the world know that Shirley King had a boyfriend that her best girlfriend took and married and blah, blah, blah. Because that was my way of putting that out there. But this subject this morning just hit me like everything. I'm going like, wait a minute. I heard it for so long. And those two people didn't even really stay together.
Wow.
And I don't even know if that person she's into the church now doing well. He eventually, got sick and passed on. But we're now back to being friends because our friendship was not built on him. Our friendship was built on friendship.
Right.
And that's how I look at it from that point of view, that our friendship didn't make me hate her. I was mad at the guy for what he did, but, he did what he wanted to do. She accepted what he did and moved on. And I accepted what he did and moved on, but it never stopped bothering me. And I noticed that I carried most of the pressure of worrying about him doing that to me. And so lately I felt that lifting off of me because I have now accepted the fact that it was not mine in the first place. Because if it had been, it wouldn't have been an ex. It would be my husband,
right?
Not my ex. I don't know if I'm making any sense about this.
Yes,
but
you are, Shirley King. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for giving your testimony and what you've been through. I appreciate that. You're right. A lot of times, if we don't forgive people and let things go, it bothers us and it creates that line anyway because we haven't let go.
Yes.
Thank you.
I appreciate this show this morning. God bless you. And I will be making a donation to your program because there are a couple of times I, by accident, came in on a conversation. Then I go and get excited and invite all of my friends and my musician friends. When I say, listen, they don't know what I'm going to be talking about because, you know, I got it like that right now. Okay. You got the lovers and the haters that want to see you doing bad. Some want to know if you got something here that they can trap you in. But I'm glad that God has blessed you to have such a popular show where people can deal with everyday opinions. Because how can we be spiritual when we can't deal with earthly things? How can we say we love God and can't love each other? Or say we're a Christian and can't get over what a street person can get over? I'm considered a street person, and I realize that God forgives those that do me wrong, and then I have to forgive those that do me wrong in order to move in my spiritual life.
Right. Well, you can.
Thank you so much for letting me come on because I done did everything trying to get on here, and I'm like, I want to hear myself saying this, but then I'm going to go back and listen to the show because I know that God is using you, and I heard the stuff you was going through. That's why I'm not in the church right today. I cannot be hurt by both sides of the fence and not know where I belong. So take a breather, get in the middle, and let God take you where he wants you to go. And I think God is taking you where he wants you to go because, as you said in your other live feeding, God needs people willing to go out here among us, not stay up in a building and act like they spiritual and then change to deal with what the real world is. The real world is out here. The people that sick is out here. They're not in the church and they won't come there because they don't want to be judged. And I don't want to be judged, but I know when God is speaking, I know how to let my ears open and listen. And he's speaking today because a lot of us need to know we can't say we love God and find ways to say but. You know, there ain't no but in God and loving God. I love God, and this is the way it is. Yes, respect and morals and all that stuff is a total missing action. But at the same time, you know, if Jesus had to deal with it like our church people are dealing with it, none of us would be saved.
You're right.
We would all be damned. So I appreciate your show. I appreciate it. And I will be making a donation because God is good every day, and he's trying to get us to listen so we can get to be better people, especially the people outside of the church. We don't have a problem with church, but when we come in there and see her all being raised in the church, why she keeps it up in the church when you sit in the club and drink with your friends and raise hell? No, I come to the church seeking God, and when I didn't get it, I came back to the street. But I thank God for you because you're in the middle of a real reality show. And this is a reality show that we're living in nowadays. We either accept the truth and don't get the butt in there, or we don't accept the truth. We can't have ourselves straddle the line. We either who we are, we are not who we are. Right. And believe me, we outside the church know who you are. So you're real, and I appreciate you, and I will be making a donation.
Thank you so much. I love you, Shirley.
All right. God bless.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Shirley King, daughter of B.B. King. Wow. Wow. So this topic goes deep. Let's see what Tonette said. I don't care if he moves on and go be great, but he ain't dipping off in my family, period. We all respect each other and don't double dip. That's disgusting. I agree. And I'm not arguing anybody that disagree. I'm not disagreeing with anybody. I agree exactly what you're saying. My question is, did they really do something wrong? Do adults have a right to be happy? Again, anybody else want to get another comment in? 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. What I am doing by this show is I am bringing light, and I'm glad Shirley King called because she spoke about the hurt she carried for 30 years. And just like when me and Vanessa was talking, a lot of the hurt that happens between people, especially when it comes to kids and relationships and seeing your kid and everything, has to do with unresolved feelings. That's the whole reason why all this stuff is happening. Because because listen to me, the woman that God has blessed me with, and the way I love her and the things she's done for me, I wouldn't care who date one of my exes. I really would. I don't have to be around them. I'm not around my exes, and I don't have a lot of friends because my best friend is also my wife, or wife to be, but she's my best friend. So I cling to her like she cling to me. So I don't need that. But I wouldn't care who they date. You can be happy. Maybe you can make them happier. If my best friend want to date one of my son, Mom, you can make them happy, go right ahead. If my family member said, well, you know what, let me date one of your exes, I could be happy, go right ahead. I'm glad, like when I ran into my boy, he gave me the bottle of champagne. I'm glad that you all happy. I'm glad you living in life because you gave us something I couldn't at the time. And I can't get mad. I can't say, okay, because most people want to use the fact I had her, like Ray J said about Kim Kardashian, I had her first. A lot of people won't say, well, I had her first, and there's my sloppy seconds. They're only your sloppy seconds if you holding on to feelings. See, why is it sloppy seconds? Because you know why? What's your sloppy seconds? Somebody's first. And if it's first in their life and they're happy, let them be happy. See, what I wanted to expose, and I'm doing it now at the later end of my show, is that a lot of those lines has a lot to do with people not dealing with unresolved feelings. That is the background behind every negative, dirty thing. Because most of the people that hurt you, talk about you, dismantle you, whatever they do, they love you the most, especially in a relationship. The nastiest woman to you, the nastiest man to you is somebody got feelings for you that they can't do nothing about getting you back. And that's why everything you do, even if you do it, and the worst thing they want to see is you being happy. Most people that you've dated want to see you living under the bridge homeless. They don't want to see you happy with nobody. There is nobody I've ever dated, been in a relationship with, gonna see me get married or happy. I know it's a great possibility when I do get married, one of my kids or two of my kids won't be there. But again, that has nothing to do with the kid. And I was talking to Vanessa, it's not about pointing fingers, but it ain't about the kids. It's about unresolved feelings. Because if we really be honest with ourselves, and I got a new CD coming out, it's called Knowing Yourself, and not to give anything on the CD, but there is something I talk about there about if we really look at the people in our life, they reflect what we haven't let go. Every negative, if I'm bleeding, like I said on my first CD, and I jump into a pool of sharks, I'm going to attract sharks to me. And a lot of times when we got pent up feelings or we see something that we feel is not morally right, a lot of it has to do with backup feelings that we have not let go. Why am I mad at somebody dating my ex, whoever they is? So what? I might have been intimate with this person. So what? I might have been in a relationship. Now, dating my kid, I have a problem with that. But if that kid is an adult and decide to do this, I don't have to accept it. And I have to accept it, but I don't have to be around it. Then they can't come in around me with it. I'm not going to accept it. But did they morally do something wrong? See, we want to let go our ex with conditions. When somebody is an ex, they just that. There is no conditions. We have no right to dictate their life. That's why a lot of times the parents of the ex use the kids as a way to try to dictate that other person's new relationship. Because they know there's a defining factor in that relationship is the kids. So I'm going to always be in that relationship with the kids. But one day that kid is going to become 18 years old, and that kid is going to be emancipated by the state that you live in, and you have no say in that. You know what I mean? My son is 18 years old. I don't have to ask his mom about nothing. I don't have to ask his mom about coming in. I don't have to ask his mom about anything. I tell him I want him to do something, he's going to do it. And each one of them, that's going to come a point. Because, see, here's the thing. The time you spend your time, my friend Argentina is listening. Thank you. The time you spend your time on doing devilish and dirty things to try to get back at somebody, the unresolved feelings you have, that is going to dictate your after the fight. Do you know how many people are fighting fights after the fight? Listen to what Shirley King said. Shirley King said it took her 30 years to get over that. That when this man that came between her best friend. When they got married, he passed, they got back together. And see, that is what is bringing us to a point in life that's making us ugly, mean people. That's robbing us of our happiness and robbing us of our life because we're holding on to stuff that has been done. That's why when we tell God to take the weight, He not only take the weight up, not only take the thing away from us, He takes the weight of it. Because there are people who's carrying weight for things they can't relive. But see, your body don't understand that you can't relive it. So every time you think it and breathe it in yourself, it's making your body relive it and living over. And here's the thing: every new relationship you get into, you're gonna take that hurt with you. And you're going to make somebody good pay for something that somebody old did. And that's the whole thing about relationships. And a lot of times, the biggest regret we have in relationships in losing somebody, especially somebody that go to somebody we know and be good in their God, grow in their God, we're thinking we could have done something different or we could have treated somebody better. I've had instances where I've had friends treat their mates like dogs and other friends come behind and treat them good and they're married and happy. But the friend that treated the person like a dog mad. What are you mad for? Nobody can take anything away from me. And that's why I get out of this notion when people say somebody slept with somebody else or they cheated. I say anyway, if I cheat or if I sleep with somebody else, it's because I wanted to do it and nobody made me do it. But a lot of two things that happens that we don't ever talk about when people move on or cheat or date somebody else or want to leave us is that either two things happen. Either that they're settling with us or we stop doing what we did to get them. See, a lot of times we don't want to ever deal with those two factors because we want to always make somebody wrong. We feel that people got to stay with us because they committed to us, not because we have a job. See, there's an after the fight. There's an after everything. See, we as people of God, we forget about the after. We always forget about the after. So now that you said I do, now after that, I got to work hard to make you happy. See, I told my fiance, who will be my wife, that there is nobody that's going to outwork me making you happy. Because if anybody outwork me making you happy, they can take you. But if you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you're doing everything beyond and above what is called to do as a person, spouse, and mate, nobody is going nowhere. See, that's the point that people regret because they know when they draw that invisible line that they could have did more. See, what really bothers people and really ingrains in their jealousy or really hurts their heart is the fact that somebody left me and did better with somebody else. That's the greatest line. And don't let this person be my cousin. Don't let this person be my best friend. Don't let this be somebody that's going to remind me day in and day out that I let this person go and this person aspired to be great. See, you know what's going to really make people hate me, especially the people I've been in a relationship with, is when that big break, which is here coming. That's what's making people hate me more. There are people and exes hate me more now because of the success of the radio show, because of the success of the following, because nobody ever wants to see you doing great. You know what they want to see you on the lower whacker begging for change. Because you know why? Because they want you to know that they was the greatest thing. You know how many people out there, exes of mine, think that they were the greatest thing ever, but you the greatest thing ever by yourself? What good is a diamond that nobody sees? Who cares if you got the biggest rock of Gibraltar on your finger and you stay in the house? Nobody gonna see it anyway. A diamond is meant to shine. But we don't get that. We don't see that. We don't live by that because you know what? We feel that I got this person. I can be lazy. I can do whatever I want to do. Listen to me. If anybody cheat on me, it's because they want to cheat on me. It ain't because I did what I wanted to do or I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And that's what we got to get to. We got to take responsibility for ourselves. That's why I said on my CD, I check myself. It's your turn. And stop selling. If you know this person, just because this person got a good job, just because this person look good, this person got a little money, don't mean that this person is right for you. Everybody is not right for you. Stop thinking that everybody is right for you. They might have a lot of things you want, but God ain't ordained everything. Cheating is a choice. You're absolutely right. Cheating is a choice. But I'm going to tell you something what ignites cheating. People who sell and people who forget to do their job. Because you're not going to tell somebody they got to be married to somebody for 20, 30 years of misery, or somebody don't want to treat them good, lift them up, empower them, pour into them. You know what? People could be miserable by yourself, but people don't understand that. And there was a lot of stagnated people in their duties in marriage and relationships. See, my fiance can say she wants something and I make a way to get it, or I make a way to do it. And a lot of times I bring her stuff without her asking me, because the greatest sense of gesture for anybody, any relationship, do something when you don't expect it. You know, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, and this might sound funny, but yesterday, the owner of the station bought me a biscuit. One of the best biscuits I ever had. Now somebody might say, it ain't nothing but a biscuit. It was the best biscuit I've had. But he didn't have to do it. And see, a lot of times the little things go unnoticed, or the little things don't mean a lot to people, because they do it out of a sense of entitlement. Or people feel like you got to do something. Nobody got to do nothing for you. You know, nobody has to do anything for you. But anybody that you care about, do it because you want to do it. I enjoy making my lady smile. I enjoy blessing people, because when you bless people when they don't expect it, it means that much more. Anybody can do something out of obligation. I don't love nobody out of obligation. I'm married to you. You know, I'm married to you. You my wife. So you obligated to do it. No, I ain't. You know, I'm you. You my husband. You know, you got to do what I want you to do. You know, come on. No, I don't. Love is a choice. Love is not an action. Love is an action word. It is not a choice. It's not a feeling. I love you. How do I know you love me? Because by what I do. And I'm going to tell you something. I personally don't think that my best friend should date my child. I personally don't think that my best friend should date my ex. And I definitely don't think that my best friend should date my family members. But I'm going to tell you something. If God gave me what I am happy, you know, and they want to do what they want to do, they can sit in those. Bless you. You go. Because maybe you might be greater with somebody else. But if I am really holding a candle or holding bad feelings for somebody because they dating that's because I haven't let them go. And the last thing I would ever want, something that I let go grow in somebody else's garden. You know, throw away something I think is a weed, but it turned out to be a mustard tree that grows into a giant big tree. That's harmful. And I ain't gonna, and people, you might not admit it, and if you don't admit it, that's okay. But there's a lot of people mad at their ex because their ex did something greater with somebody else. That's why you're mad. Or you're mad because your ex went all the way to the next level with somebody else. And if you admit it or you not, you hate to see something you throw away grow to something great. I know I did. When I watched that lady drive away on that cherry color Bentley, man, I felt like I took 15 laxatives, because I'm like, wow. And she just gave me a smile like, yeah, you see. But I was too young to deal with that. When you really let go of your past and the past feelings, God will give you what you've been asking for. He'll give you that good man or woman. He'll give you everything. And what your ex do don't matter. A lot of times we are hang up on exes because they're the ex and they're not with us. And no matter if they change their life, they become bishops, they become doctors, you'll still hate them because they're not with you. See, if we take the time while we got the time and the people in our lives to treat them like something, to lift them up and to pour them and to build them up, then people won't leave. I've never left a job that paid me. I only left a job that didn't. So maybe if you pay your spouse, they'll stay. And what I mean by pay attention. Pay the bills. Pay them with lovely things. Pay. Because if you on your job, you're going to get paid. It's only the ones that's slacking and don't do the job to the best of their ability that lose employment. Get out of this notion that love is a feeling. Love is an action. And a relationship is a job. And just like you work every single day at your job to get paid, you have to work every single day at your relationship. Is there dating limitations? Yes. But a lot of those date limitations are the ones we set by the unresolved feelings. If you resolve your feelings for that person, you will see that there's no limitations. And you don't worry about what your family member doing with them. You're not worrying about what your best friend doing with them because you're too consumed with the happiness that God gave you. We only concentrate on the bad when we have nothing. But if we're happy with what we got, and we got all that God has for us, and we got all that makes us happy, then we're good. You're only mad and angry at what you don't have. And just like you look at a lot of people that's successful. You take people like the owner of this station, Earl, successful proprietor of a radio station. You take my producer, Wanda Bolton, amazing, successful people. I guarantee you somebody, one of the exes out there like, you know what? I can't stand them. But hey, because they can't stand them, because it's unresolved issues. Nobody want, I'm telling you, like I said all the time, nobody want to see you doing good. Everybody want to see you doing bad, living on the little whacker so they can throw you some change and say, see, if you would have stayed with me, you would have had more. You know what I mean? But just like God got a call for your life, got a call for their life. People, don't concern yourself with who your ex date, who they with, even if it's a family member or best friend. Get what God has for you and be happy with that. And that's all you need. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show. Next week, I have even more shows. Thank you for all the call-ins, people of God. And always keep in mind that happiness is yours. God gave you the victory over this life. Walk in it. Remember, you can have all that you want in this life. You have faith enough to go get it. And if it was easy, there'd be no Corey Wright in the Solutions Radio Show. If it was easy, there'd be no Wanda Balter and IntellectualRadio.com. If it was easy, there'd be no Earl Winfrey and IntellectualRadio.com. But more importantly, if it was easy, there'd be no you. People of God, see you at work. Peace. You don't need no baggage. You just get on.